Welcome to Star TV. I'm enormously excited today to have Danielle Mensah of QiDanChi here to speak about her company that she started earlier this year. Danielle, welcome. Thank you very much for being here. So perhaps if you could tell us a bit about QiDanChi and what you do.
Yeah, thank you, Nadia. It's great to be here. QiDanChi is a new business that I launched earlier this year, which has two key missions. One, to help people live a life they love, and to help companies become places people love to work. Great. I use a multidisciplinary approach which covers coaching, advisory, speaking and writing. I integrate a focus on leadership, performance and wellness to really help my clients create profound outcomes and results in their life that help them shift away from things that are holding them back into a much easier, freer way of living their life and in a position where they're able to achieve all the great things that they're excited by. And I also work with companies advising around culture change, specifically around diversity and inclusion, and the leadership that's required to really drive out performance within a company and meet the various strategic objectives that they have. Fantastic.
So perhaps you could tell us a bit more about that link between diversity and well-being.
So I was asked this the other day by one of my clients. He's like, well, I don't get it. Why would you focus on well-being and diversity? Mm-hmm. And the reason they're linked is because you only get the performance returns by creating a diverse workforce if people feel great. Yeah. Otherwise, they're going to just add another set of people who might look or seem a bit different to your existing talent, but they'll be hiding, like a lot of people are within your organisation already. So my focus with diversity is around talent diversity. It's a very broad view of it, encompassing all the different kind of characteristics, as well as, importantly, I think, cognitive diversity. And the performance returns for business come through people thinking differently and feeling good. Because then they're able to share, be creative, open up about their ideas, challenge, confront, all those sorts of aspects. Yeah. Leaders and the existing staff in companies are more capable of handling the new diverse candidates that arrive when they are feeling better. Yes. Because they will either be experiencing less stress or better able to manage stress. Why do I link that? Well, because if somebody appears that's different to you, looks different, acts different, talks different, that can create stress for you. Yes. Right? Yeah. It's innate, we're primal beings. So partly it's about the well-being of the people already in the company, releasing their hidden talent, and then being comfortable around the diverse candidates that arrive. And it's also about setting up these new people that you bring in, setting them up for success. Yes. Because you're helping them feel good. You're helping them look after themselves. You're helping them understand how to perform effectively in that company, in that role, and bring all the wonderful juices and all their creativity and all their talents out into the organisation. That is what creates the performance returns. Yeah. And if I was, in a lift with the CEO of a global organisation, I would be saying, make talent diversity a top 4 business priority for your company, and empower and support your leaders to be inclusive. That is what will bring the profitability that you can derive through focusing on diversity.
That's great advice. So perhaps you could give us a success story.
Sure. So, for example, a woman that is one of my clients, she works in technology, she's quite senior, she's very bright, very capable, has the ability, to achieve a lot in her career, but she has a difficult relationship with her boss. She's been feeling very unconfident, very uneasy, very anxious about going to work, and that's been affecting her performance. It's also been affecting her in her wider life, because she just feels crap, basically. So the first thing we focused on was how to shift her perception through thought of what's going on in the dynamic between her and her boss. And that has been almost magical in the way that she has so quickly taken responsibility for her own thoughts and her feelings. And that is really shifting the dynamic in that boss relationship. And then, you know, she is telling me how great she's feeling. She's talking to her husband. Everything's just a lot easier for her, and that awful Sunday kind of heebie-jeebies, as I would refer to it before you go to work, is dissipating. And you know, now we're focusing on hardcore skills and how she operates in her role. So, for example, you know, how do you present well in a meeting? Other people seem so polished; they seem to communicate so well. How do you do that? And very quickly, she's able to take on board ideas, techniques, kind of hacks, as the kind of new funky way of describing them, as well as you know, the coaching work that we do together, so she can really become centered and calm when she's in those sorts of situations that create stress for her. And those techniques aren't just useful when you're presenting in a meeting; they're useful whatever you're doing.
Daily life.
Absolutely.
I can imagine. So Danielle, what's happened in your life that's inspired you to do QiDanChi?
I think it's a combination of, you know, personal and professional experience, right? But it goes back to me as a kid, you know, difficult things happening, traumatic experience, and you know, I'm going to go there. You know, my mum was beaten up by my stepfather, you know, black and blue, horrific experience, and you know, the next day I would go to college, you know, him driving me, telling me that it was her fault. And you know, it was all shrouded in secrecy and lies. Very, very difficult emotional experience to go through. And I developed all sorts of coping mechanisms off the back of that. And so really I've dedicated a lot of my time, energy, effort to recovering and healing from that. And learning about why those sorts of things happen. And how to shift my perspective so that I understand my life is happening for me, not to me. And forgiveness is an incredibly powerful thing. And I'm living, walking proof that you can forgive people when they act like that. You can empathise, you can understand why they do that. And you can forgive yourself for whatever role you did or didn't play in that happening and how it happened, and you can move on. And you know, I can tell you this now, and I'm not experiencing really any feelings particularly.
You're living proof of your work,
right? But because I've released it, and it's so important. Like, the body carries emotion. If you hold on to it, it will stay in your body and it will come out in various different ways. And most of us have things that have gone on. You know, we feel hurt around, upset around those sorts of things, and it's just powerful to let it go and to release yourself. And you know, myself, I have a huge dream of what I want QiDanChi to achieve, and I know a lot of people in finance and outside of finance who have really, really big dreams. You want to make those a reality, then you need to release stuff that's holding you back. Whether it's limiting beliefs, anger, resentment, stuff that's gone on, whatever. Just let it go and move on. Because then you're able to create outcomes for other people and for yourself that are bigger and more meaningful than you could ever really imagine.
Absolutely. On top of all of that, you had a fantastic career in finance for many years, and it's interesting hearing your experience before, during, and I suppose now seeing after that as well. So perhaps tell us a bit about what really sparked you to leave the financial sector.
I think again it was passion.
You
know, it's that deep sense of I am longing to do this, what I am now doing. You know, my inbox is now full of emails that I want to read. I will spend lots of time, whether it's at the weekend or the evening or in the day, reading, researching. And
I can vouch for that. We
right
over the weekend.
Absolutely. You know, talking to people, all that kind of stuff, and obviously, you know, with clients, because it's something I really, really care about. And so whilst I was successful in finance and I loved what I was able to achieve, I achieved more than I ever kind of knew of or dreamed was possible. And I got a lot out of it, you know, learnt loads, met lots of great people, experienced a lot, loved being inside the four walls of an investment bank at Barclays, you know, getting that real hardcore experience of what it's like, working at exchanges at the heart of the financial markets. It's an incredible, you know, experience to have a set of insights that I've acquired through that. But fundamentally, deep down, I knew my purpose lay elsewhere. Yeah. And I found a notebook the other day. I'd planned to launch this in 2015.
Wow.
But I decided to carry on because I had the biggest job I'd ever had, you know, working at Euronext. I was a senior leader there, you know, the only woman that was running a commercial business, you know, one of pretty much the only ones who was under 40 with that level of responsibility. I had a P&L of 200 million plus euros to manage. You know, great opportunity to redevelop my team and all those sorts of things. So I wanted to do that, and I'm so glad I did because the you know, the few years that I had where I didn't launch QiDanChi in 2015, I decided to do it later. It's really given me a lot more kind of know-how at that senior level of what that's like, and therefore empowers me to help other people in a different way.
So then again, part of that journey, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's personal reasons, right? I was getting married, I wanted to have a kid. So that's done. And now I carry on.
Perfect. So now, who would you say would be your typical client?
So originally I was thought, well, it kind of could be anyone that's not feeling great and wants to do something about that.
Right,
and that has quite broad application, right? But most of my clients are people working in the professional services, financial sector. They're talented individuals, they work hard, they play hard, but they've got, you know, some sort of challenge, problem, issue, set of issues that's affecting how they feel and holding them back. And these are people that, you know, have the potential to rise to the top. You know, they really have got it. But whatever's happening in their life, whether that's challenging relationships at work, in their family, in their home, or it could be, you know, certain ways that they're feeling, you know, mental, emotional symptoms, anxiety, lack of confidence, not feeling as calm as they want to.
All these things can hold people back from being the best they can be at work.
And thought, like thought is, I think, commonly misunderstood by most people in my experience. You know, I've been fortunate to, oops, I hit the mic there, realise that what I'm thinking is not the same as reality. Right? It creates an illusory reality. And the better you understand that, the easier your life is. Right? And you can become very desensitized to how others are around you, which kind of lowers some of the triggers of what may be causing you to not feel so great. But there's a lot to it, and really, you know, my clients need and want and benefit from creating personal and professional breakthroughs through the work that we do together. You know, and it's amazing how fast people can shift when they've got the right kind of support, and they're willing to say, actually, you can help me, and I could do with some support, some guidance here. And the reason I include advisory as well as coaching, which is quite different to what a lot of people do, is because many people are lacking information and know-how as to how and what they can be doing that's going to help them. So the way I work is kind of teaching and educating, providing information off the back of the priorities and the focus that clients have set, and then using the coaching skill to embed that learning in their everyday living.
Yeah, that's great.
And people sometimes say to me, are you a life coach? Are you a career coach? You know, what is it?
Want to define it,
Absolutely. And coaching is a skill. So someone can come to me with a challenge in their personal life, in their professional life. They want to make a career transition.
It can be so varied, right?
They've got a huge promotion that, you know, they think they could go for, but they're really not sure if it's the right thing for them. They're a bit nervous. Can they really do it? Absolutely, all that kind of stuff. And like I said, challenging relationships, you know, the boss or the boss's boss, that can really cause problems for people in the way they progress and the way they feel. You know, some of my clients, Sunday night, they're feeling horrendous. And you can overcome that without anything happening with anyone else, right? So
Yeah,
it's really
that's great.
empowering. It's about people recognising control and sense of responsibility they've got.
The responsibility to themselves and empowering for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So I love your LinkedIn posts, your daily LinkedIn posts. What would you say are the inspiration for those?
So I want to influence a large number of people with what I know and my motivation to help people.
Yeah.
And I think LinkedIn is a channel to do that.
Yeah.
It's of course a way for me to market what I do, but first and foremost it's about helping other people. So in effect it's like coaching through LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And I get inspiration constantly from conversations, from things that I see, things that I notice, you know, lots of observations that I've had over the years. You know, my mind is buzzing with ideas. It takes me maybe like 5 minutes to write the post, and then out it goes. And one thing I would say, if it resonates with you, then share it, comment. You know, that really helps to spread the information, because hopefully it's packed full of tips and advice and suggestions that are meaningful for people. And certainly that's the feedback I get. I get a lot of direct messages
I bet
from
you do.
people saying, hey, this is going on for me, you know, and some of those become clients, some of those it's just a quick interaction and a kind of gratitude from them, which I really appreciate.
It's almost like daily advice, daily coaching, daily thoughts for the day, some of them as well, just to get people thinking about their lives.
Yeah, very much so.
So I suppose my next question would be, if you had to give some advice to people that lead other people within teams, what advice would you give?
Yeah, I think my first point is take care of yourself.
Nice, yeah.
The better you look after yourself, the better you're able to lead. It's that simple.
I massively agree with that. Yeah.
It just makes sense. You know, what people tend to find challenging from a leader is if they're inconsistent, they're aggressive, they're irritable, they show stress.
And that's when they're not looking after themselves.
And that tends to happen when you're not looking after yourself, as opposed to, oh, something really difficult's going on. Because let's be honest, if you're in leadership, you're dealing with fires.
Yeah.
And the higher up you go, the bigger and harder those fires roar. There's always going to be tough stuff going on. You're under pressure. So the better you look after yourself, the better you're able to lead others. So that's my first point. The other is care. Care for people. Show that you care. You know, just a little bit of empathy goes an incredibly long way. You know, I remember years ago, I had a boss, and my father had passed away, and unfortunately a week prior to that I had ended a relationship and needed to move house. So some rather stressful things going on at one point in time, right? Maybe I could have made some different choices that would have served me better when I look back, but hey, these things happen. And my boss asked me in the middle of an open plan floor how I was when I came back, and that was the only time he ever inquired. Contrast that to a different boss, again when I'd had a disastrous relationship go wrong. I was good at those years ago. And I wasn't planning to talk to him about it at all. I went in for my normal one-to-one, ready to discuss business, and he took one look at me and said, "Are you okay?" That for me is an example, really, really small, where you can just show that you care about someone. You know, we are not robots. We have hearts, we have emotions, we have a huge amount of thoughts. Some people have like a hell of a lot of thoughts going on. We're often like far too much in our heads. So care, and it's actually quite easy to show that when you do care.
When you do.
And I know everyone's busy and everyone's got a lot of stuff going on, but these little things can help people feel better about the way they are. Perceived, valued in the organisation, increase retention, reduce flight risk.
Yeah, increase happiness levels.
It's a small thing. And the other way of showing that you care is be flexible. You know, sometimes people can churn away working incredibly hard with a huge amount going on and all that kind of stuff. And then there might come a day where they say, I'm really not like feeling it. And you notice and you say, why don't you leave at 4? Yeah. And give them that permission. Yeah. Because at the moment, I think people are afraid to ask for that flexibility. There's a lot of conversations going on around flexible working. Yeah. At this point in time, it is still seen, I think, as a weakness to say you want to work flexibly, particularly if you're a man, sadly. Yeah. And as a woman, it's often assumed, oh, well, that's because you're in the primary childcare role. Right. So our kind of perceptions and stereotypes are off for sure. But flexibility is another way to show that you care.
Yeah. Very powerful stuff. So please get in touch with Danielle of QiDanChi. If you want to be the best that you can be, if you want to increase the performance levels in your company, the profitability in your team, Danielle's the woman you should be speaking to. Thank you very much, Danielle.
Thank you, Nadia. Great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you.